His arms are outstretched, welcoming the world. But the man in the bronze statue in Montreux didn't have to wait long for his welcome. Within weeks of its unveiling, fans were making the pilgrimage from around the globe to pay tribute to the singer, who seemed to embody both boundless energy and eternal peace. This is where Freddie Mercury comes to rest, or maybe he never left. Welcome to this house. Today, we explore the home and haunts of iconic figures from the past, bringing their stories back to life through the places they once inhabited. Join us as we uncover the hidden histories that these places are hiding and learn what these sites tell us about the people who once called them home. Now, let's meet the woman who brought Freddie Mercury back to life in bronze. Irena was born in 1928 in Prague, Czechoslovakia, then part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The city would become the backdrop for her earliest memories, which included singing with her father and mother in the family car. She later described him as having a beautiful bass voice and recalled how he would entertain them by impersonating opera singers. Though she always intended to be an artist, her studies were interrupted by World War II, and she had to work in a factory producing ammunition. After the war, she trained at the Academy of Arts in Prague. Then, in 1948, her life would change forever. Communists seized the government and set about purging enemies of the state. Among them was her uncle Gustav, who was executed for his former role in the Czechoslovak Legion. With her family at risk, Irene fled to West Germany in 1950, settling in Hamburg. It was here that she married Václav Sedlecká, a fellow Czech refugee and sculptor who would become her second husband. The couple moved to London in 1956, joining a vibrant community of exiled artists and intellectuals. And it was here that she began to find her voice, sculpting anything she could get her hands on, including a bust of the Soviet leader Joseph Stalin, which she melted down to make a cast of the Russian Tsars, Nicholas II and Peter the Great. In the late 1960s, the family moved to Oxfordshire. Her husband became an accomplished artist in his own right, exhibiting at the Royal Academy in London. And though Irene largely stepped back from public life, she continued to work. Then came a call that would transform her career and her life. By 1991, Freddie Mercury had become a global icon, but his health was deteriorating. After announcing his illness, he retreated to his home, Garden Lodge in Kensington, London. It was here that he would pass away on November 24th, leaving a void in music and in the hearts of millions. His manager, Jim Beach, was determined to create a fitting tribute and reached out to Irena, whose reputation as an artist of quiet fire had grown within the industry. He explained, "I saw a photograph of one of her sculptures and I thought, I want that kind of feel. I sent her a letter asking if she would consider doing a bronze sculpture of Freddie. And she replied straight away, saying yes. She flew over to see me in Montreux. We sat down and talked about Freddie, and I told her about the idea. She was immediately enthusiastic. She knew his work well, and she was up for the challenge. As research, she spent hours looking at photos, studying Freddie's posture and gestures, listening to his music. She even attended his final show at Wembley Stadium in 1986. Sitting backstage with Mary Austin, his longtime companion and close friend. She also visited Garden Lodge, Freddie's home in London, where she met his friends and partner, Jim Hutton. Although she had never met Freddie in person, she felt a connection to him through her work. She said, "I studied hundreds of pictures of him and listened to his music until I knew it by heart. I had to visualize him and think about his personality, the way he stood, turned his head, or stretched his arm. I wanted to portray his acceptance of everybody. I wanted to capture his gentleness, his kindness, and his smile. I didn't want to depict a tragic figure, but a triumphant one, a warrior who won his battle." For 9 months, she worked in her studio, perfecting the pose, the facial expressions, the very essence of the man she had never met. Then came the reveal. On November 25, 1996, 5 years to the day since Freddie's passing, the world gathered in Montreux to witness the unveiling of the statue in the Place d'Europe. Overlooking the lake he had fallen in love with in 1973, It was here that he found solace from the frenzy of superstardom, recording some of his final work and finding peace at the end of a storm. The ceremony was intimate, attended by Freddie's closest friends, family, and bandmates. His mother, Bomi, and father, Jer Bulsara, traveled from India to attend. Other guests included Montserrat Caballé, the opera legend with whom Freddie recorded Barcelona, as well as his longtime manager, Jim Beach, and his partner, Jim Hutton. There was also Brian May and Roger Taylor, two of the three remaining members of Queen. As Brian recalls, when he first saw the finished piece, he broke down in tears. He said, "It's Freddie. It really is." And it was. It wasn't a caricature, but a quiet, powerful depiction of a man who had changed the world through his music. In the years since its unveiling, the statue has become a site of pilgrimage for Freddie fans, known simply as the Freddie statue. It has been replicated in Lego and visited by Elton John and Chris and Martin Kemp, among others. But it is on September 5th, Freddie's birthday, that the crowds arrive in Montreux to sing Bohemian Rhapsody beneath the Swiss sky, light candles, and leave flowers at the base of the statue. It is a place of mourning, yes, but more importantly, it is a place of celebration. And the woman who created it sits among them, watching as her creation brings people together. Irena Sedlecká's contribution to the Freddie Mercury statue might not have been obvious to the casual viewer, but to those who knew her work, it was clear that she had created something truly special. She did not simply sculpt a likeness, but a feeling. The defiant curl of his lip, the tilt of his chin, the set of his shoulders all spoke to the quiet strength that had allowed Freddie to conquer his demons and achieve greatness despite a childhood marked by tragedy. Born into a family of intellectuals, she recognized the importance of preserving the memory of those who had been silenced by the communist regime. And in doing so, she ensured that Freddie's legacy would live on for generations to come. She understood that a statue is more than just a work of art. It is a symbol of hope and resilience. And by capturing the essence of Freddie Mercury, she created a timeless tribute to a man who had touched the hearts of millions. In an interview with the Daily Telegraph, she summed up her philosophy of art, saying, "I started to like him as a person of real quality, because he was already a great artist. I don't care whether he was bisexual, black, white, Chinese, Jewish, or anything. If you're a good artist, you're an individual. You're free. That's what art is about." After Freddie's passing, Irene went on to sculpt other notable figures, including Pope John Paul II and Mother Teresa. But none of these works achieved the same level of adoration as her bronze depiction of the singer in Montreux. And as the years passed, she watched as her statue became a symbol of love, acceptance, and the enduring power of music. Today, the Freddie Mercury statue remains a beacon of hope in Montreux. And on September 5th, thousands gathered to celebrate the life and legacy of a man who dared to dream big and live unapologetically. It is a fitting tribute to a man who once said, "I want to make a grand entrance into your life and blast your brains out." And in doing so, Irene cemented her place in music history as the artist who captured the heart and soul of an icon. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing for more historical tales. Thanks for joining us. Until next time.